Hello, one and all. Welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Kit, and thank you so much for joining our channel. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that ring bell notification. That way, all of you are made aware when we upload new content onto our YouTube channel. And today, this is a special announcement to all of you, our viewers and subscribers. We have been reading the comments section in a lot of our Sabaton videos, and I know a lot of you have been demanding us to check out Sabaton history. Now, I was unaware of this channel, and it's been brought to my attention by my team that a lot of you have been demanding and been very vocal about checking it out. And you, the audience, asked for it, and we will deliver because, let's face it, without all of you, this channel would not exist. So, as always, folks, for all the channels that we check out, for all the videos that we look at, please support the original content creators. This YouTube channel is Sabaton History, and it goes into detail, and it even has the band members talking about the events, individuals, characters, etc., that they talk about in their outstanding music videos. And for that, I cannot thank you guys enough for recommending this. So I know a lot of you were very vocal, typing it in the comment section below. We have a lot of these set up for all of your enjoyment. And look, I want to keep my pausing at a minimum because, let's face it, we're all here to get our learn on. So we have our first video from Sabaton History, and this one I chose because I've always been interested in the Bismarck. Yes, the infamous battleship that was a terror in 1940 for the British Royal Navy. It was the pride of the German fleet, and I've mentioned this in a previous in the music video that Sabaton did. But I remember the old documentary series that used to play on the History Channel, and let's face it, there was a time when the History Channel just showed videos and documentaries about history. Now I don't know what they've become, but anyways, that's besides the point. I'm very excited to learn more information about the Bismarck and also hear commentary from the band members themselves. So grab yourself a tasty snack. I was going to say smack. Don't smack anybody. Grab yourself a tasty snack and a tasty beverage. And let's get ready to play this video. And one other thing here as well. In the music video that we saw in regards towards the Bismarck, I was unaware, and all of you, that's why you guys are so important. I was unaware that the individual that had the pocket watch was actually the grandson of one of the survivors of the Bismarck. I mean, it's all come full circle. So, or no, it wasn't a survivor. It was the captain who died on the ship. So, as always, folks, your feedback and your commentary, always awesome. And listen, I cannot thank you all enough for your ongoing support and helping us build up our channel. So enough talking, enough wasting everyone's time. Let's go ahead and pull up this video. Bismarck, Battle of the Atlantic, Sabaton History, number 12. No, we're not starting in order, but I decided to choose the Bismarck because I'm in charge of the ones and twos. So let's get ready to play this video in a 3, a 2, a 1.
I'm Indy Nidell.
I'm Per from Sabaton.
And this is Sabaton History. Germany's Bismarck was the largest battleship ever built. But of course, being the biggest means you're also the biggest target.
And it was also one of the most requested songs that you guys wanted us to sing about. So we did.
We'll get to the song in just a minute, but first,
always respect the fans and what they want. Give the people what they want. If they want a steak dinner, you give them a steak dinner.
Here's the story of the Bismarck. As the construction of the two Bismarck-class battleships began in 1936 in Germany, Britain was anything but worried. By treaty since World War I, Germany could not have any battleships that could challenge France and Great Britain. In 1935, Hitler had even voluntarily agreed to limit the total tonnage of his navy, the Kriegsmarine, to 35% of the British fleet. However, the launch of the first new battleship in February 1939 showed that not only had Hitler disregarded the treaty, the Bismarck class was something the world had never seen. Christened Bismarck by the granddaughter of Otto von Bismarck, Germany's first chancellor, the ship
Wow.
was, like its twin, the Tirpitz, 251 meters long and 36.
Whoa, there was another Bismarck-class battleship? Oh my goodness, that is incredible. Sorry, I'm going to keep my pausing to a minimum. I apologize. Let's continue on.
Meters wide, larger than anything the British or French had. Its 8 38-centimeter guns placed in 4 twin turrets were the biggest guns ever placed on a German warship. Additional medium artillery and anti-aircraft guns completed the armaments, while its range-finding center was top of the line. But it was not just strong offensively. If it was to go toe-to-toe with French battleships, as had seemed the most logical enemy in 1936, it had to be able to withstand some hits without going down. The main armor belt was up to 32 centimeters of super strong Wotan steel. Its double-walled hull could absorb the shock from a torpedo and disperse it around the hull. The transverse bulkhead was between 11 and 22 centimeters thick and was segmented into 22 compartments that could be individually sealed in case of flooding. Its 12 high-pressure boilers and its munition chambers had an additional armor strength of 8 to 12 centimeters. All in all, with 44% of its weight dedicated to defense, it seemed impossible that this ship could be sunk.
From the mist, a ship is taking form, and the silence of the seas are about to drift into a storm.
By the time the ship was officially commissioned on August 24, 1940, the war had turned Europe upside down, and it was British shipping, not French, that was the main enemy at sea. The German invasion of Norway had deprived the British of strategic positions in the North Sea. And if the German battleships Scharnhorst and Gneisenau could combine their strength with both the Bismarck and the Tirpitz, it would mean a daunting German battle group for the British to tackle. And as the battle for Britain raged in the air, German submarines targeted shipping in the Atlantic, Britain's
Wow.
lifeline. If such a battle group joined the hunt for freighters bound for Britain, Britain could be starved into submission. Food rationing had already been imposed on the British public, and the German subs operating from French ports sank over 260,000 tons of shipping in August alone. This was exactly what Admiral Erich Raeder of the Kriegsmarine had in mind when he gave command of the Bismarck to Admiral Gunther Lutyens. Second in command was Ernst Lindemann. The crew, over 2,000 strong, was not conscripts but volunteers from all over Germany. They were top-notch men. In the Baltic Sea, the Bismarck had its first training exercise against a mock battle cruiser, Hood. HMS Hood, built at the end of the First World War, was for a long time the British flagship and symbolized the might of the Royal Navy. The first tests were favorable. The Bismarck could reach a top speed of 30.8 knots and outrun any potential threat, but there were 2 weaknesses. First, the recoil of the heavy guns was extreme, and it was uncertain if, under combat conditions, the force of the naval guns firing would harm the ship's equipment. The second weakness showed during a simulated rudder failure. Without rudders, it was very hard to maneuver the ship. Well, rudders and propellers were always a weakness on any ship, though, and the German Admiralty dismissed the problem, since hitting the rudder during combat was extremely unlikely.
Oh, never dismiss anything. Always dot your I's and cross your T's, especially when it comes down to battle simulations. It's always good to double check and triple check. But I do have to propose this question here, though. And, if somebody has the answer, please let me know. But we have done a commentary on Kings and Generals War in the Pacific against the Empire of Japan. And the Empire of Japan, their fleet, they had aircraft carriers. And from the videos that we've gotten up to so far, all of the battleships, battleships, cruisers, destroyers, were absolutely decimated by the introduction of aircraft carriers. How come the German Navy, the Kriegsmarine, never invested into aircraft carriers? I mean, that would seem something far more advantageous than a battleship. I mean, obviously, hindsight's 2020. I don't think anyone really understood the power of and the devastation and what revolutionary technology the aircraft carrier would be in the Second World War. But if we do have an expert, type an explanation why, and if there's a video that we should check out, share with us. Give us a link. I mean, we want to check it out.
By April 1941, the Bismarck was ready for combat. It was to head back to the North Sea, catch up with the heavy cruiser Prince Eugen, and meet Gneisenau in the Atlantic. Raeder gave the order that over 3 months, it was to sink as many freighters as possible. The might of the Bismarck would allow the battle group to even attack guarded convoys. However, at the time, both the Gneisenau and Prince Eugen were damaged awaiting repairs. The Bismarck waited. On May the 5th, Adolf Hitler visited the ship. Now, Hitler was a fan of battleships. He loved the design, but he had no knowledge of tactical or strategic naval warfare. He was, however, fearful when it came to naval operations. On the one hand, he wanted to protect and enhance the propaganda image of the mighty German forces. On the other, he wanted to avoid agitating the neutral Americans and their freight shipping. So the Kriegsmarine kept Hitler in the dark about his plans. On August 18th, the Bismarck and Prince Eugen were to secretly head into the Atlantic. Those two ships were strong enough to do some serious damage to British trade. It was likely that the British knew that the Bismarck was battle-ready, but still, secrecy was the key to success. Until they reached the Atlantic, the Bismarck could run into a British trap and be overwhelmed by numerically superior forces. But you know, how they hoped to keep the largest battleship in the world floating around out there a secret is beyond me. Anyhow, the 20th, the Bismarck was spotted, and a day later, members of the Norwegian resistance observed the German ship hiding in the fjords. They informed the British. Now, Admiral Sir John Tovey, aboard the new flagship King George V, was chief of the British Home Fleet. He was ordered by the British Admiralty to locate and engage the Bismarck. That ship was not to reach the Atlantic, period. Tovey could not, though, know the exact route the Bismarck would take. So he ordered Vice Admiral Lancelot Holland to take the Hood and make for Iceland with HMS Prince of Wales to cut off the most likely path. Back home, the Kriegsmarine informed Hitler about Bismarck's departure on the 23rd. Hitler was furious and wanted to recall the ship, fearing that the pride of Germany might be destroyed, but Raeder assured him that everything was fine, especially now that the German invasion plans for Crete were finalizing. Bismarck would keep the British from sending additional ships into the Mediterranean. Spotted again by the evening, two British heavy cruisers, the Suffolk and the Norfolk, had taken its scent. And I mean that quite literally. The Suffolk was equipped with a superior new radar system, and the heavy cruiser shadowed the Bismarck and gave its whereabouts to the rest of the British fleet. Bismarck also seemed to be pursued by bad luck. Not only could they not evade the new radar system, the first time they fired on the pursuing heavy cruisers, the recoil of the guns damaged their own radar system. So they had no idea what was heading their way.
Oh my goodness.
2,000 men and 50,000 tons of steel set the course for the Atlantic with the Allies on the hill.
It was the Hood and the Prince of Wales. The Hood had more guns than the Bismarck, but way less armor. The crew was also inexperienced because since the end of the First World War, it had not fired a shot in combat. The battleships closed in on each other. The first to draw blood was the Prince Eugen, hitting one of the Hood's munition chambers. And then, just as the Hood was turning to bring its aft guns to bear, the fourth salvo from the Bismarck smashed into it, punching through its armor and detonating inside the ship's main munition chamber. A moment of shock paused the battle as HMS Hood was engulfed by a giant fireball and split in half. The Prince of Wales returned fire on the Bismarck, damaging it.
All right, if we got a physicist or, you know, some kind of mathematician, what kind of energy, the amount of energy and power was there in that explosion to split the Hood in half? Again, an inquiring mind wants to know. So if someone would kindly type that answer in the comment section below, I think I and everyone else here would greatly appreciate it. Let us know what's going on.
But was in turn itself hit, which destroyed the bridge and killed the officers. The Prince of Wales turned and fled. Admiral Lutyens decided not to pursue, but to check the damage on Bismarck. It had only received one hit, but was taking on water. One of the boiler rooms had to be abandoned, but more importantly, the foremost fuel depots were leaking. Lutyens evaluated his options. He had damaged the Prince of Wales and destroyed the Hood, a major victory. Indeed, it had been a lucky shot, and the battle had not lasted 10 minutes, but only 3 of the 1,419 men aboard the Hood had survived.
Oh my goodness.
But the Bismarck could not now reach top speed, and his fuel was lower than planned. Yep, Bismarck was always referred to as a he. Lutyens could return the way he came to Norway or try to break through to Saint-Nazaire, France for repairs. He chose France. The death of the Hood was indeed a shock to the British public. Admiral Tovey was ordered to destroy the Bismarck with all ships available. Norfolk and Suffolk were still shadowing the Bismarck, but neither could slow it down. The only ships close enough to do that were Force H, HMS Sheffield, HMS Renown, and the aircraft carrier Ark Royal, with 18 Swordfish torpedo bombers aboard. Those biplanes looked like World War I, but could reach 100 knots, enough to catch the Bismarck. Lutyens was pessimistic about his chances, since basically the whole British home fleet was on his heels. Force H made contact with the Bismarck May 25th, but the Renown and the Sheffield were too weak to engage. 15 torpedo bombers did instead that night. Such small planes are hard to hit with AA guns, especially at night, and with suicidal bravery they closed in and released torpedoes at 300 meters. The first torpedoes did minimal damage, but Bismarck was hit in the stern while making evasive maneuvers, and inrushing water blocked the rudder. Bismarck's Achilles heel had been hit.
Holy cow. Brilliant big brain move there. Craig's Runner Command. As always, folks, dot your I's and cross your T's. If something doesn't look right, it's always good to double check. I mean, remember that one guy, General Tang from Star Wars, New Hope, you know, he was the only one saying, hey, look, if the rebels find a weakness in this battle station of ours, the Death Star, it could be absolutely devastating. He was that one guy saying, hey, hold up. We got something great here, but we're not at fully awesome yet. Maybe we need to just double check and triple check anything. And what did Grand Moff Tarkin say? No, it's fine. Wow. Holy cow. I never knew this. And again, I cannot thank all of you enough for the recommendation of this channel by typing in the comment section below. Again, your feedback, we need it, so that way we know.
Engineers tried desperately to find a solution, but the water pressure was too high to send in mechanics. The situation seemed hopeless as the British ships closed in. Admiral Lutyens radioed Berlin, "Ship disabled. We will fight to the last shell. Long live the Führer." Tovey planned to engage the Bismarck from all sides, with the battleships King George V and Rodney attacking from the west, while the Norfolk would come in from the north and the heavy cruiser Dorsetshire would attack from the east. In the early morning of the 27th, they sighted the slowly swaying Bismarck. Rodney and George V opened fire. Bismarck returned fire, but soon 2 of his turrets were knocked out of action. A shell hit the artillery command center, killing the officers. Lucky hits, but decisive ones. Bismarck was blinded. The shelling continued, and by 9:15, Bismarck was a burning wreck. He fired his final shots just after 9:30, as his last turrets were destroyed.
The flagship of the Navy, the terror on the seas, his guns have gone silent at last.
The Bismarck was done. Of the 2,876 shells fired on it, 400 hit the ship in a little over half an hour. Now it was the execution of a helpless enemy. Within the ship, it was pure hell, from poisonous gases, fire, heat, cold water, oil, and blood from the dead and dying. At 10:15, Lindemann, since Lutyens was probably dead at that point, gave the order to abandon ship. This the men who could did, as shells rained down, killing hundreds of sailors. The Dorsetshire fired 3 torpedoes as the final blow, and Bismarck disappeared beneath the waves at 10:40. Just 115 of his crewmen would survive.
Oh my goodness.
Hitler learned about the disaster.
And just just from my understanding, I mean, let's face it. And this is kind of an obvious statement, by the way. The Atlantic Ocean, especially that far out, extremely cold. It will damage the human body. Like, again, you're not going to last long out there without the proper equipment, etc. So, 115 out of 2,000. What a tragic loss, but my goodness, what a historic battle. Now, let's find out how the Führer reacts to the destruction of his precious flagship.
Not from Admiral Raeder, but from the British press. The Kriegsmarine had refrained from telling him the truth, fearing his anger. And so ends the brief adventures of the Bismarck, the mightiest battleship of all. Again, the biggest ship makes the biggest target.
True.
To lead the war machine, to rule the waves and lead the Kriegsmarine.
So what inspired you to write about the Bismarck?
All right, we get a lot of requests from our fans. Ever since the album 2010, Coat of Arms, where we actually asked our fans officially for the first time to send in ideas. I received over 10,000 ideas in just a short period of time. It took me weeks to go through.
Because they'd write a whole story, not just Bismarck. They'd write, you should do this story about this and this.
Yeah. Well, some people write, you should write a story about Star Wars. And some people write a whole thing.
You guys, Star Wars doesn't count as military history, even though it was a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
When I go through them.
Not to mention, you have to probably deal with the oh so monstrous Titanic monster known as Disney. But I'll laugh at the destruction of Disney for another day. Not right now, but I'll laugh at it another day.
Yeah.
There's one of the stories that keeps popping up constantly, and there are so many people who want to hear the story about the battleship Bismarck. I like warships, I like naval warfare.
Yeah.
And for me, this was a topic that I really wanted to cover. We couldn't fit it on Carolus Rex, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, okay.
We couldn't really fit it in on the heroes, even though you could sort of maybe write it from the perspective of the sailors or something like this.
Sure.
If we would put it on the last stand, yeah, then maybe that would have worked, but we didn't cover it for that. And then we have the cooperation with the gaming company called Wargaming. And they have a game called World of Tanks where Sabaton has a tank inside. And they also have another game about ships.
World of Warships.
Yes, correctly. And they asked us if we had any song that would fit to this. And yeah, we do have the song Midway, which is about naval warfare. We thought, okay, this is a great opportunity for us actually to write something unique for this. Because we felt this story we want to tell, and we can actually do it outside of an album to gain more focus on it. And we decided, we went to the studio and we wrote the song Bismarck, and we recorded it, and Wargaming actually helped us to produce a really, really awesome video for it.
Because it is the single. Well, how was it recording it, making the video and everything that goes with making a single and stuff?
Well, the video was recorded in several locations.
Yeah.
Our main part was filmed on a ship, so we needed to find absolutely open water that would fit to the purpose, and a boat that was suitable enough to carry a stage that we could take out on open water. And they sprayed us constantly with water when we were filming it, and it was pretty cold when they were driving full speed with the vessel and filming it over and over again.
Yeah.
And we were so cold, and with the water, it actually freezed our fingers, so in the end we could barely move them at all.
That's dedication. These guys they've already earned my respect, but they've doubled it now. That's incredible. Again, I have no idea the logistics of what it takes to be even running an operation like that, but I'm well aware of just how brutal and unforgiving the Atlantic Ocean can be.
But
But the
I
people
think,
filming, they were all wearing jackets and things.
yeah, they were comfortable. They were drinking coffee and just enjoying the sight of us.
It is a tough life being a rock star. Tough life.
But in the end, it turned out to be a really cool video, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I love the song too. So, and it's great that we have this channel now, so we can even explain it to the people who might have missed the single.
True.
So that was Bismarck.
And this is Sabaton history.
The terror of the seas, Bismarck and the Kriegsmarine.
And for those of you mentioned in our video that we watched in regards to the music video, that gentleman with the pocket watch is the descendant of one of the survivors of the Bismarck, I believe, or one of the people who were on the Bismarck. I think maybe the captain or something of that nature. Please correct the record in the comment section below, but I know all of you typed that in there, and how incredible is that?
Alright, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the Sabaton History channel, check out Indie's other channels, and support us on Patreon, because that's what makes this happen.
Agreed. All right, what can I take away from this? First, I owe all of you a major thank you for being consistent and writing, hey, Sabaton has a history channel. I was unaware of the existence of this channel, and all of you and my team let me know of, hey, you guys should check this out. Americans Learn. You want to learn something? Here's something to learn, and it's from Sabaton themselves. So, first, number one, outstanding content. I know I was a little bit out of order, but I shall try to get back in order. We have the Bismarck. I wanted to start with that video because the Bismarck as a battleship has always interested me, and I think it's been a long time since I've seen a dedicated documentary series dedicated to the Bismarck and the infamous battle of the Atlantic, the British Royal Navy versus the Kriegsmarine. 10 out of 10, I would recommend everyone to check this out. If there's any other videos that you want us to check out here for Americans Learn, please type it in the comment section below. Also, very important here, number one, listen to me carefully on this one. Please support the original content creators, okay? It's the right thing to do, so be a hip, cool cat. Come on, be a hip, cool cat and do the right thing. The original link to this video is in the description box below, so by you throwing your support behind it, you're helping out Sabaton and so much more. And let's face it, they're doing phenomenal work, and I want to see more of this. So thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your commentary. You guys and gals, you hip, cool cats, made this happen. You asked, we answered, we responded. So thank you. So take good care of yourselves. Keep your heads on a swivel. And what an outstanding video. Peace and take care.